Hi, my name is Daniel and I'm here to talk about the location of storage of memory-related information in the brain and discuss different theories related to this topic. The three objectives of this presentation are to see how the opinion about the way, how, and where the memories are stored in the brain changed over time as the knowledge in psychology and neuroscience deepened, to analyze and compare several theories about the location of the stored information in the brain, and to explore some strengths and weaknesses of each theory. First, I'd like to talk about the hippocampal function in memory theory, since it's the older one and was pretty much the only valid theory until 2021. This theory focuses on attempting to describe how hippocampus could possibly operate in order to store information via analyzing the function of the hippocampus in rats, monkeys, and humans. As the main evidence, it presents the fact that when the fornix of the hippocampus of humans or monkeys is damaged, the organisms become learning deficient in aspects such as learning about object placement. So essentially, lose their object location memory. Also, the damage to the perirhinal cortex results in loss of recognition memory, which is the ability to identify a familiar stimulus that has been encountered recently. Perirhinal cortex is a structure in the brain that is very closely linked and connected to the hippocampus. Author states that what actually is used as a storage for memory is the network of the CA3 cells, which is a network of neurons located in the CA3 region of the hippocampus. He states that it's likely that the CA3 neurons are able to create arbitrary spontaneous associations between different inputs that are being received from different parts of the brain. This makes the hippocampus a sort of a control center which receives information about different experienced stimuli and creates associations between its neurons, which creates memories. The article that I chose as the second source for this presentation is also about the hippocampal theory. However, it is a lot newer since it has been released 8 years after the previous one. This means that it is based on more relevant scientific knowledge and would be able to provide more accurate information. In the introduction, the authors address and admit to the fact that the hippocampal theory leaves too many questions unanswered and doesn't have enough scientific evidence to support it. The purpose of this article is mostly to clarify the given theory and pose some new questions. The purpose of these questions is to lead to either confirmation or rejection of the given theory as a result of further research. Authors state that main function of the hippocampus is likely not formation and storage of memories, but it is playing a general role in information processing in general and even regulation of behavior. In this article, it is stated that different areas of the hippocampus are responsible for different things. The authors analyze other research articles about the consequence of creating lesions in different areas of hippocampus. The result of that study is that the effects of the damage on the brain and the behavior of the organism can be very different depending on which region and segment of hippocampus was damaged. Apparently, damage to the most areas of the hippocampus leads to malfunctions that only indirectly lead to memory damage. The newest theory regarding the storage of memory in the brain is called the mesh code theory. The article that started this theory was published only in February of 2021, so it's not well researched and hasn't been supported by much literature or different articles yet. The main idea of this theory is that memory is quite literally encoded in binary format inside specific proteins that are found in every singular synapse of every neuron of the brain. This theory denies the usual belief that memory is stored in hippocampus and suggests a new, drastically different approach, stating that there is no singular segment of a brain that will be purely responsible for the memory storage. Apparently, a protein named tallin exists in all animals known to humankind, and in every single animal it has 13 switches. These switches are force dependent, and each one of them can be reversibly switched between folded and unfolded using mechanical force. This makes tallin perfect for storing information in binary format. Talin is present in large quantities in neural synapses, and previously its function was unknown or assumed to be structural. More specifically, it is located inside the ECM of each neuron. ECM stands for extracellular matrix. Each neuron is able to build its own ECM around each synapse in order to control its mechanical environments. This allows for precise regulation of mechanical environment of each synapse, which would allow for mechanical computation to occur rapidly with high precision. The binary code inside the protein is ready to change any time, which allows for changes to be made instantly. The older theory, the hippocampal theory, is quite outdated, as can be seen from the date this article has been published, which is 1996. Obviously, the scientific knowledge about neurology and neuropsychology has been expanding since 1996 up until today. Some uncertainties in the hippocampal theory became visible, and many questions got raised, such as how and why is the hippocampus the core for both memory and navigation systems. It is now debated that the primary role of hippocampus is navigation in space and not creation and storage of memory, and that the creation of recognition memory in it is only a consequence of it being the core of the navigation system. As I have said before, the second article was focusing on trying to explain those inconsistencies that have been raised by the original theory and clarify some uncertainties. The authors of that article also realize and admit to the fact that their research is also going to raise more questions about the truthfulness of the hippocampal theory, and that more research in that field has to be done to either support or reject it. And finally, the mesh code theory is very new and takes a drastically different approach to this question. Author denies everything that has been said in the hippocampal theory and attempts to explain how the memory is stored in the brain without basing any of his claims on previous hippocampus research. Main advantage of this theory, which is being fresh and new, is also its main disadvantage. It means that it is only supported by basically just one scientific paper, and it still lacks more literature support. For it to become a valid theory, it has to be reviewed by different scientists and studied closely for a while. In conclusion, it can be said that there is still no concrete knowledge or facts about the location of storage of memory in the brain. Both the old and new theories are either not studied closely enough yet, or contain contradictions and inconsistencies that cannot allow for the theory to be fully supported. More research in this field has to be done in order for humankind to say that they have discovered the information storage location in the brain for a fact. Here are the references. Thank you.